Give it up to the Fedorans! Power to the Fedoran people! Take that, white man!
Just to correct the record here. That hat was a fedora, and our friend here is wearing a stingy brim pork.
Old goats like crop of scraggly meal.
Break my horses up, make my sense of self.
We're gonna go into our first feature now. Enough with my shenanigans. This gentleman has been the recipient of many awards, including the Marsh A. Gomez Cultural Heritage Award and the World Pride Award. He was recently proclaimed a 2010 GLBT icon of the Equality Forum for his activism and contributions to the gay community. He's the author of a novel called Christ-like, and If Jesus Were Gay and Other Poems. Is this the one? Or
poetry book.
Oh, okay. This is poetry book right here. This is his CD right here, the spoken word poetry of Emanuel Xavier called Legendary. He is the curator of a monthly reading series at El Museo de Barrio. He has been featured on HBO Deaf Poetry, and he works at Random House. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for our first feature of the night, Emanuel Xavier. Clap as Emanuel makes his way to the microphone.
How's everybody doing? Thank you for being here. I'm going to dedicate this first poem to all the gay youth who have recently committed suicide. It's called Outside. Hypocrisy exists in our world today, and those that are out can only go so far. And society is surprised when those who prefer to hide react with violence to threats of opening closet doors. Because in darkness, they are safe from those responsible for reducing our brothers and sisters to dust and memories, like Matthew and Brandon and Sakia and Rashawn and Tyler and Asher and Seth and Justin and Raymond and Billy and way too many others to name. Those of us that are out in these empty rooms dance ignorantly to the occasional drumbeats of liberty, while the only difference between us and those huddled in corners and shadows of fear is that we have a little more space to breathe. Yet the smell of equality is only truly found outside, where there are no limits or debates on how to legislate desire, and sexuality is simply the right to physical expression between consenting adults. We could live out of the closet, but we can never leave this house. Monsters, especially those with hideous diseases and colored skin, are not welcome in the open fields of America, where others could dare to dream of marriage or adoption or political office, or defend our country from imaginary weapons of mass destruction. Because not all of God's children are worthy to see the light beyond these cold white walls. We are only tolerable as long as we remain silently lingering indoors. Straight friends sometimes visit to feed our hungry souls with stories about journeys and adventures, taking the time to join us and mourn the memory of our dead before heading back into the privilege of sunlight, leaving us behind to wave goodbye from gated windows, unable to come out and play. If only we could run past the prejudice and feel the wind across our chests, discover lands starving for diversity and star-filled skies awaiting to shine for us too. In the distance, the emptiness of towers fallen, a cruel reminder of our perversions and sins, as preached by religious men with tongues that are holy enough to lick the innocence of children, to touch the openings of children, while faint sounds, unrecognizable as cries, emerge from underneath closet doors. There are too many of us in this house, located on a land far away from normal, chanting songs of freedom every day. We only want to be outside. We only want to be outside. We only want to be outside. The Lord is outside. It's no wonder some would rather die moths in the closet when butterflies are not free. And I just want to take this moment to thank Michael Geffner and Wordz for having this event, and for all of you for supporting spoken word poetry. I sort of evolved from the slam poetry scene, and Harold Bloom is a critic, and one of his famous quotes is, "Reading well is one of the great pleasures that solitude can afford you." And he also claimed that slam poetry is the death of art. So I wrote this poem for Harold Bloom. I am not a poet. I want to be rich and buy things for my family. Besides, I am sort of popular and can honestly say I've had a great sex life. I am not a poet. Georgia O'Keeffe paintings do absolutely nothing for me. I do not feel oppressed or depressed and no longer have anything to say about the president. I am not a poet. I do not like being called an activist because it takes away from those that are out on the streets protesting and fighting for our rights. I am not a poet. I eat poultry and fish and suck way too much dick to be considered a vegetarian. I am not a poet. I would most likely give my ass up in prison before trying to save it with poetry. And I'd like it. Heck, I'd probably be inspired. I am not a poet. I may have been abused and had a difficult life, but I don't want pity. I believe laughter and love heals. I am not a poet. I am not dying. I write a lot about AIDS and how it has affected my life. But despite the rumors, I am not positive. Believe it or not, weight loss among sexually active gay men could still be a choice. I am not a poet. I do not get Kerouac or honestly care much for Bukowski. I am not a poet. I don't spend my weekends reading and writing. I like to go out and party. I like to have a few cocktails, but I do not have a drinking problem, regardless of what borough, city, or state I wake up in. I am not a poet. I can seriously only tolerate about half an hour of spoken word poetry before I start tuning out and thinking about my grocery list or what my cat might be up to. What is my cat up to? I am not a poet. I only do poetry events if I know there will be cute guys there, and I always carry my business cards. I am not a poet according to the scholars and academics and Harold Bloom. I only write to masturbate my mind. After all, fucking yourself is one of the great pleasures that solitude can afford you. I am not a poet. I am only trying to get attention and convince myself that poetry can save lives, but my words simply and proudly contribute to the death of art.